Hi everybody, my name's Kim and I'm from Voitic Accessories, and if you've never heard of it before, it is a brand of handmade accessories made by yours truly. And this is my very first YouTube video, so I'm super duper excited. And it's going to be all about doing your first craft fair. So you guys can be prepared for doing your very first craft fair and you won't make some of the same mistakes that I did. First off, I want to answer some questions that a lot of my friends asked me when I told them I was going to be doing craft fairs, and that's where do I find my craft fairs and how much am I paying for them. So finding a craft fair or a place to sell your stuff is really not that hard. I was doing mine around Christmas time, and so I actually found my very first craft fair on Craigslist, and around Christmas time there will be a lot of craft fairs, farmers markets, things like that, posting ads on Craigslist looking for vendors. So you can email them and just tell them, hey, this is the craft that I do, and I had to email them some examples of what I did, and bada bing bada boom, you're into the craft fair. Another thing you can do is just look around your local community and look for local farmers markets or flea markets. Like I know I'm going to start doing the Cloverdale flea market down at the fairgrounds pretty soon. There's also a craft fair out in Delta, which is near me, so I might start doing that. So it's not that hard to find places to sell your work. The second question was, how much am I paying for my tables? At my very first craft fair, they had a deal, and it was $20 for the first day, or $35 for both days, because it was a 2-day event. Most craft fairs or farmers markets, stuff like that, they're going to range between about $20 and $40. So you're going to be paying somewhere around that. Usually 40 is a bit high. But yeah, so just be prepared for that. So to get ready for your very first craft fair, I would have a lot of this stuff prepared in advance. I didn't really think about that when I started doing this, so I signed up for a craft fair and then came to the realization that, oh my god, I don't know how to do a craft fair. I don't know what I need to get ready for this. So try and have a lot of this stuff done in advance. The very first thing, having lots and lots of inventory. It's really important to have a lot of inventory because if you've got an empty table, no one's going to be interested. If you've got a lot of stuff, there's more stuff for people to look through, so people are going to come to your table, they're going to stay at your table, they're more likely to buy stuff because they're engaging at your table. Second thing is getting your display ready. And this is even more important than your inventory because it doesn't matter how good your product is. If you don't have a good display, people aren't going to pay attention to it. So a couple of very important things you want to have in your display is a tablecloth, because that tablecloth is going to take that ugly gray bingo table that they give you, or whatever the booth that they give you, it's going to take that from dull to slightly more awesome, and it's going to make it look very crisp and clean and super nice. Second thing you want to have in your display is height. You want to have some of your stuff elevated at different levels, and you don't want to have just everything laying flat on a table, because that's boring and no one's going to be interested and they're just going to walk by your table. If you have height, it creates visual interest and people are going to be more interested in your booth. Last thing you want to have is light. If you go to a mall or like a store or something, in their display windows they're going to have lights that shine down on the product to make them look nicer. Same with if you go into like an art gallery, they're going to have lights shining directly onto the product or onto the painting to make it look nicer. So you want something like that. I didn't actually have that in my first craft fair and I did really well, but I did still have light. I had a light up tree behind my earring display, and the thing is with light is it grabs people's attention. They'll see it from across the room, they'll be interested in it, and they'll be like, oh, what's that? Why is there light over there? And they're going to be more likely to come to your booth or your table. Next thing you want to have ready is a sign. I've seen a lot of people not do this, but I think it's pretty important. You don't need to go out and buy some fancy laminate sign from like a sign making company. It can be super simple. Mine is just some cardboard triangles with that spell out Voitic Accessories, and they hang on a little string in front of my booth. So super simple, but it tells people who you are, and that is majorly important. Next thing you want to have is business cards, because if people want to like remember you or check out your Facebook page or check you out on Etsy or whatever, a business card is really handy to have because you can have all that stuff on there. Like you can have on the back it saying, you know, check us out at Facebook and have your Facebook website, or check us out on Etsy, all that jazz, and it just tells people who you are and they're going to remember you better. Next thing you want to have, and I highly, highly recommend this, is a square reader for taking payments. Because obviously when you go to a craft fair or a farmer's market, you're going to have your float with all your cash for change in it, and the change that's in your float is going to vary depending on what your stuff is priced at. So a lot of my stuff doesn't have, it just ends in zeros or fives, so I just have tens and fives in my float, and I don't have any loonies or toonies. But I highly recommend getting a square reader for taking payments, because you can then start taking credit card payments, and it's really, really simple to get. Just Google square card reader, and they will ship the reader to you for free. You don't pay for anything, and you just plug the little reader into the auxiliary port in your phone or your tablet, so where your headphones go, and you can swipe credit cards and you can take payment that way. And it's super simple. Basically when you swipe the card, it'll take 2.75% a charge for the company, for the Square company, which is really low, so it doesn't affect your profit too much. And if you manually enter the card number, it takes, I think, about 3.5% of the profits. So again, pretty low, but you're probably better off swiping it. And they will also send you a little sticker that says, you know, we accept Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover, so that people know that you take credit cards, and which is super important because I've actually almost lost sales not having credit. Like, I had a credit card reader, and the lady didn't know, and she was like, oh, well, you know, maybe I'll go, you know, borrow some money from someone. So I mentioned that we had a credit card reader, and she got all super excited, and she actually bought $40 worth of stuff. So really important to have a card reader. It's going to actually get you a lot more business. Some important things to remember for doing your first craft fair is, a lot of people forget stuff like this, is having things like a display emergency kit. So just have like a Ziploc bag or something with some scissors, some string, some tape, maybe some safety pins, and just stuff like that. Because if something in your display breaks or something goes wrong, you want to have that stuff there to fix it. And even if you don't end up using it, somebody else might need it. Like when I went to my first craft fair, I forgot string, and I was frantically running around the beginning of the craft fair going, does anybody have string? I need to put up my sign. Does anybody have string? And thankfully one lady did, so she saved the day for me. Another thing you want to remember is a power bar and an extension cord, especially if you have lights in your display. You're going to want to power them, and you're not necessarily always going to be by a power outlet, which is something you should mention when you do sign up for your craft fair or farmer's market, is ask if there is outlets available and if you can be placed by one. Because obviously if you are on the complete other side of power outlet, an extension cord isn't going to help you too much unless it's like super duper long. Another thing you want to bring is snacks and water, because you're going to be sitting there for a very long time and you're going to get hungry and you're going to get thirsty. So bring snacks, bring water. I would also recommend bringing a friend with you, so in case you have to go to the bathroom or for whatever reason, plus someone there can also keep you entertained because you're going to get bored. I would suggest, yeah, bring someone, and then they can watch your display while you go to the bathroom or something like that. If not, you can ask the person next to you, like, hey, can you watch my booth for just a minute? And usually I found that people at craft fairs are super nice and they will watch your booth for you. Some other stuff you want to remember is bring a craft project, because like I said, you're going to get bored. So for me, I bring some knitting to work on, or if you can't do your craft on the spot, do something like package your craft. And the very last thing you want to remember is your packaging for your stuff. So I have little tiny Ziploc bags that I put all of my jewelry in, and they have my business card in there and everything. And for my knitted stuff, I have plastic bags so that people can take that stuff home. It's not going to get all messed up. My jewelry's not going to get tangled in their purse, stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically everything that I thought you guys might need to know for doing your first craft fair. If you have any other questions, you can ask them in the comments, and I will either make another video or I'll respond to you as soon as I can. Alright, thanks guys, bye, good luck with your first craft fair.